It is our favorite day of the week, Foodie Friday. And today we're spotlighting a Chicago baker, a real one, who wants to make baking easy for everyone.
Digital journalist Jamaica Ponder takes us to her shop where the vibe is vintage.
For today's Foodie Friday, I'm giving you a blast from the past at Bettie Chicago near North Center. Here, Kristen Hoffman, more famously known as Baker Bettie, takes her students through her cookbook, helping them to gain confidence in the kitchen, using the aesthetics of the 1950s in her retro shop and the principles of today. Bettie Chicago is a multifunctional shop adorned with vintage collectibles, spaces for photo shoots and social media, and a fully functional 1950s-style kitchen and educational space. The day I came for a visit was right in the middle of their baking boot camp. Kristen's students were learning to make an apple pie, so I learned how to make an apple pie as well.
I'm leaving just a little bit of overhang, like about a ½ inch.
With Baker Bettie leading the group of us, one would never guess how the persona originally came to be.
Baker Bettie really grew out of my shyness. When I first started the website, I was very shy and I didn't want people to know my true identity, so I decided to make an alter ego.
Kristen first started posting as Baker Bettie on her food blog 11 years ago. She says she's since grown to be more outgoing, much due to her Baker Bettie persona.
I think that me growing out of my shyness truly just took practice. I didn't want to feel that shy, but I also really wanted to teach. I wanted to make baking feel approachable for people, and I thought that putting myself in front of people would be the best way to do that.
After several years of teaching around the city, Kristen knew she wanted to build her own space and thought, why not make Baker Bettie right at home?
I kind of always wanted to own a 1950s diner, but I've worked in enough restaurants to know that I don't want to run a restaurant. So I was like, why can't a baking school also look like a 50s site?
Classes at Bettie Chicago range from focaccia art to intensive baking, with people coming from across the city and out of town to learn from Baker Bettie. Kristen says her students come from a wide range of backgrounds, something she aims for in making her classes and workshops accessible and easy to recreate at home.
I truly believe baking is for everybody. It doesn't need to be fussy. It doesn't need to be finicky. I think people think that it is. I like to break down baking science in a really simple way. I think people hear science and think that sounds intimidating, but I keep it very simple. It helps people feel like I can go home and do this.
Now, I make my pie crust a little bit bigger for my beginner.
You can visit Bettie Chicago at 853 North Larrabee. Bakers, cooks, and anyone in between. Kristen says that Baker Bettie is for everyone. I'm Jamaica Ponder, CBS News Chicago.
Thanks, Jamaica.
From pizza pies to real pies, we got it covered today, right?
We got everything.
We're just talking about lots of food.
Foodie Friday.
On brand.
Exactly.